UCF. I thought they played a great game. They played with tremendous energy early on. Defensively, we knew what kind of defense they were. We made it a point to try to rush for 200 yards, which we did. But they were really good against the pass. But we knew what kind of defense we were going to go against. Offensively, a couple big plays early. Their offense against us really hurt us. A couple penalties hurt us. Personal fouls, every time we get a personal foul, they score on us. But, we told our team it was time for our team to grow up and go win the fourth quarter. And I didn't know it would be like a second left. But, I thought our kids kept pressing, and what a great moment for PJ and Bentel and Kirkwood and those guys. They've had the ball in that situation 3 times now, and to finally do it was really rewarding. But, my hat and my heart does go to the UCF. I know what that feels like. But they obviously have a very, very good football team, and it was great to get the win.
You just said you know what it feels like. Does that make up for the Wharton catch 3 years ago?
I don't know if anything makes up for it, but it's funny to me. It's like, not funny, but just so many of those kids. We showed those kids, Hassan Reddick in that game running down the field, Al Wan, Avery Williams, Finch, even though he's hurt right now. A lot of those kids that are seniors now played in that game. Avery Williams was the guy who blitzed, and Blake Bortles shook him, and Avery stopped, and Bortles threw that ball. So, with really an unsung hero on the last defensive drive, Avery hurt his ankle when he ran off the field. He didn't lay there, which we teach the kids to lay there. But inside of 2 minutes, it's a 10-second runoff, and how different that game would have been had he done that. So just really, really happy for those seniors that they had a chance to win a game like this on the road, and hopefully that gives us some momentum moving forward.
When Bentel got tackled at the 10, whatever it was, the 8 or 9 yard line, there was 10 seconds where you, I don't know if you were yelling on it. Did you hope or want Philip to actually spike it?
No, we were yelling that play. Well, not trying to give away our play, but it's like it's a hey, throw the ball up in the end zone. Because at the end of the day, now they were taking a long time to get the clock, started, and Bentel hurt his shoulder, so he was trying to get situated. But the last thing I want to do is spike the ball with 1 second, under 3 seconds, and the clock's running. So we go alpha there, throw it up, and he caught it with 1 second. So if he dropped it, you hope there's 1 second, but he wanted to take a shot in the end zone, and that's something we practice every Thursday. And that's been our playbook here since Al was here. And as much as anything, it's a lot of times people think you're going to spike it, you throw it up or whatever. But to me, that was just a great, great play by PJ and a great play by Kirkwood and a great call by Glenn.
Matt, have you had a better comeback than this?
Well, I've never had anything like this. Never. I've never been a part of anything, and maybe I shouldn't. Maybe there's something way back when, but that was unbelievable. And I think it just here again. I want to make sure I say this. It showed the tremendous maturity of our kids. They just kept playing, and they just kept playing. So, really, really proud of them.
How did you get so much more rushing yardage this week versus Memphis?
We did some things that we just really game planned. Did some things we thought would give them some trouble, and really it just kind of came down to if we could get 1 or 2 first downs, we thought we could kind of go in that no huddle mode and big people and get some good looks, and so it was successful at times. We've split a couple that really we were a step or 2 away from a couple other big long runs.
A lot of shoestring time.
Yeah. So we just made an emphasis like, hey, we're going to hand the ball to Isaiah, we're going to hand the ball to Rockwell, we're going to hand the ball to Jihad, and I thought it was a great job by Glenn getting in those runs, great job by George. But we knew, if you just try to line up and throw the ball against these guys, they rush the passer so well, they do all those things. We were just going to try to control the game. And I think once we started running the ball in that drive in the second quarter, our defense started playing better. And, I thought, other than a couple big plays, our defense settled down. I thought for the whole second half, that was just tremendous
There was
defense.
a point where the game could have been blown wide open, and the team showed a lot of poise.
Yeah, they did. Thank you for saying that. I really think that they, we told them that they were going to come out hot. They hadn't, it's homecoming, they hadn't done anything last week, and Coach Cross is a tremendous, tremendous coach. I mean, he knows offense, and so we knew they would do some things early, but we just tried to hang in there. And I thought Phil called an amazing game, and I thought Glenn called an amazing game.
Were you surprised about the 2-point conversion?
No, we were prepared for them doing that. We talked about it. Literally in the meeting, we said, listen, if they score, they'll go for 2, and if they get it, as a philosophy, we weren't going to chase the points. When we scored, we weren't going to go for 2, so we were well prepared for that. We kind of thought we had everybody covered, and one kid slipped out, so we knew that was out there, and wish we would have defended it better. Our team is kind of, when someone scores first against us, whether it was SMU on the pick or that, our team kind of settles in, which not what I want, but I thought kind of they responded after that to a degree.
Was that drive more impressive considering you had no timeouts?
Oh yeah, the fact we had no timeouts, the fact that PJ was taking what they gave him, and they rolled the coverage over here. He went to the single receiver. I mean, there was the offensive line was, hey, we had some trouble in the 3-man rushes, on those 3rd and 4th and ball calls, and they came through. They came through when it mattered.
6 sacks in the first half. You guys go down 25-7, and then you start getting after McKenzie. You moved Ramon to rushing the passer. What prompted you to do that this year, and then could you have imagined it would work the way it did tonight?
Well, we've done it a couple times in the past, and we thought he had, unique ability at it. He also brings so much to us on the offensive side. But I just think Ramon's really grown up this year, and he's taking it very seriously. He comes in at night, he does his offensive stuff, and then he goes and gets with his defensive stuff. And as much as anything, it gives other guys blow, lets us rotate. I think one of the big keys to our team in the last couple of weeks has been the development of the defensive line depth. And I can't understate. I'm tired enough. Whatever. I can't say enough that Michael Dogby, Avery Robinson, Freddie Booth, Greg Webb, Karamo, those guys have really stepped up, and that's allowed our outside guys, I think, to really rush, stopping the run with the inside guys.
You had 2 other possessions in the last 7 or 8 minutes where you got inside the 30, and Walker pretty much going for the end zone each of those times. Where did you think about field goals and getting 2 field goals?
Yeah, so on 3rd down, we tried to call plays we thought we were going to get, get 4 or 5 yards and get us in field goal range, or even go for it on 4th down. Once it got to 4th and 12, we said, hey, let's take a shot, feeling like, we'll get the ball right back because it's down on this side of the field. We felt like the defense could stop them. But, had that ball gotten, 5 or 6 yards further, probably would have kicked it, and I'll probably beat myself up about maybe I should have kicked it because he already made one of those, right? But just with the thought of, hey, we're going to try to get in the end zone, try to get a closer field goal, and obviously it didn't work out. So, I probably would go back this week, and if you ask me on Tuesday or Monday, I'll probably rethink that strategy. But, I just didn't want to put the kid in a huge bind. And also at the same time, we thought we had really good calls on 3rd down to get us 3 or 4 yards, and they did a nice job. They're really a good defense.
For all the poise in the second half, this was the second week in a row where there was a 5-6 minute stretch where it seemed like nobody had poise. Personal foul.
In the first half.
Yeah.
In the first personal foul, I'm not going to get on my kid. He's running, chasing the kid down, and the kid starts to tuck it. Once they throws it, right? I mean, we didn't hit a guy up underneath the chin. The second one was disappointing, and really, I thought at halftime, we talked this week about just being a really disciplined football team, and running the ball, no penalties, and at halftime we were winning every statistical category: rushing, red zone, third. We weren't not total, excuse me. So just a lot of them, the ones we keep track of, except for penalties. So I told them they're winning every statistical category. Apparently I'm wrong, but I just said, hey, we're not winning penalties, and. Penalties have really kind of been the bane of our existence right now. We could be a lot better football team if we could clean up. False starts are hurting us. Holdings are hurting us. That's like those drives we got down inside the 30. We had a holding, and all of a sudden it's 2nd and 20, and that's the next step for us. It better happen quick because we're playing a great team on Friday.
Usually, a team goes down 25-7, you open up the playbook, you start throwing. You actually move PJ from the shotgun to under center. What kind of courage does it take to decide we're going to run the ball down 25-7?
Yeah, we just knew that, our record at Temple, since not taking out that first year, we were 14-0 going into the game when we rushed for 145 yards. So he just kept saying, we're going to get to 145 yards, and we got to 200. We just kind of took what they gave us. And I say we, meaning Glenn and George and, Coach Wiesenhan and Frizz, that they just saw what they were doing and they just had great answers for it. And, every once in a while they'd blitz and get us on a negative, or every once in a while they would we would get a penalty that would hurt us. But when we stayed on schedule, we were able to run the ball.
Armstead shows a lot of strength when he runs the ball. I mean, his thighs. How strong is he on the squad?
I don't know. I could ask those guys. He'd probably tell you when you ask him. I don't know his exact numbers. I just know he's a really strong kid. He's really fast. And, I think, we try to make sure we get Isaiah a couple carries. Now, we had the false start early on when they couldn't hear his cadence. So we just kind of handed him some speed sweeps. You can see how special he might be, but I think Armstead at halftime, he had like 5.8 yards a carry, so we tried to continue to get him some more. And down the stretch, Job was like, I'm taking over this game, and I thought he popped the long. I thought he was going to pop the long one for a touchdown. The guy was able to get him. But we obviously have a good backfield duo.